Welcome, Spartans, to Mission Debrief. We've played every mission of the mainline Halo video game series, and now we're playing every mission from the rest of the games in the franchise in chronological order. Each episode we'll be discussing our experiences and sprinkling in a little lore along the way. If you'd like to play along and have your thoughts spread on the show, email us at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. We'll be playing the Flood mission from Halo Wars on the next episode. The Flood? What? The Flood?
What? Spoilers! You spoiled it!
Who? Did we, though?
No, we all knew this was happening.
It's happening in this mission. What? If you like what you hear and want to support the show, visit Podcast Evolved on Patreon. This episode, we're debriefing Anders' Signal mission from Halo Wars. I'm your host, Colin Perkins, alongside David Arnold.
Hello, everybody.
And Krysta Brown.
Oh, guys. Ugh. What's that smell? Ugh. Ugh.
It's
stinky.
The Flood.
Stinky planet.
They stink.
The planet of stank.
The whole mission is it's covered in green crap, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an ugly planet. A bug planet.
It looks nasty. Yeah. Last mission was Scarab near the Covenant dig site. Sergeant Forge had to deal with a Type 29 ultra-heavy site excavator, a.k.a. a Super Scarab. The stationary beast would wreck everything in the path of its oscillating focus cannon, preventing both advancement and retreat. Forge eventually leads the UNSC Heavy Metal to destroy the Terror thanks to a little game of hide-and-seek. Meanwhile, the Prophet of Regret, desperate to gain the upper hand on the human race, conspired with the Arbiter to abduct Professor Anders. In Anders' Signal, Professor Ellen Anders is abducted by the Arbiter, and the Spirit of Fire must take chase. Serena follows Anders' transponder and leads the ship to an unknown planet in uncharted space. A trio of elephants are deployed to the planet's surface to eliminate the Covenant and identify potential fire-based sites. However, they're met by a terrifying resistance that changes everything. The date of the game is February 23rd, 2531. Did you get that? Changes everything?
Yeah.
Pretty nice,
everything.
Huh?
I'm going to do my impression of when the Flood enters the game. Oh, I'm having a good time right now. Everything's working out. Oh, wait, there's something over there. Oh, it's coming. Oh, That is how it happens every single time in every single game.
Yep. What is that? Oh my god!
Oh my god! There's something more! Yep. Every single time.
Very nice, Krysta. Thank you.
You're welcome. My
David,
acting
let's
skills.
do this cutscene, David. What do we got?
I would like to. It's a pretty slick cutscene. It pretty much starts off with Anders and Forge. There's lots going on. So Anders and Forge are pretty much chilling around this blown up Scarab. Forge is pretty happy with himself. Having a good time.
Barbecuing.
Anders is taking a video, and she's having none of Forge's messing
selfies.
Yeah. So she's recording, and she pretty much walks point blank into the Arbiter in camo, which is way more effective camo than it probably should be. But anyway, it was pretty dope. So he's pretty much just saying, "You will come with me now." Forge pulls his pistol, and pretty much aggressively is intimidating the Arbiter. Claims leave her down, and let's fight. Arbiter goes into stealth as Forge shoots him with a pistol. The pistol is rubbish. It's probably like Halo's 2 pistols. It does not. And then in a ridiculous move, the Arbiter pretty much picks up Forge and cuts him in half with his sword. But
does he?
I'm watching it again. He cuts him in half with that sword, but Forge is just a little bit burnt, just a little bit sore. It's just got a tight chest.
He hits him with his hilt, I think. But it's weird.
It's weird. Anders steps in front and says, "Stop! If you leave him alive, I'll go with you. If you let him live." I don't see why the Arbiter would care. But anyway, he grabs her by the neck and storms into this great big pulse. And to my kind of surprise, the pulse is beaming him up to a spirit, which we didn't know had this ability. You've never seen it before. So I thought that was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I love how he grabs Anders just right by the neck and starts dragging her. It's a big dick move.
It is, absolutely.
That's a good point though, because spirits have like the sides open so that
right.
the troops can just jump out the side.
Where would you beam into?
Yeah.
I mean,
the cockpit
Keyes was
area,
in
I
the
guess?
cockpit in Halo 1 when he took over the thingy, so
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
we'll have to reread the Flood to see what spirit
All right.
cockpits look like, because I think that's the only time we have any look inside.
True. And pretty, like, obviously the Arbiter pretty quickly was just given this mission and immediately succeeded in it. The Spartans show up really late on their Warthog and pretty much pick Forge up, and that's pretty much it. We gotta get the hell out of here and go back to base. The cutscene kind of transitions to space pretty quickly, and it shows you pretty much Cutter has like a hard decision to make of either does he stay here and fight on the planet, or does he chase Anders, who's rapidly leaving the orbit, and obviously he's gone into slip space. So it was kind of Red Team that convinced him to go after Anders, saying like she poses a pretty huge security risk. I got the impression he was not going to leave the planet. He was going to pretty much sacrifice Anders and stay and fight. I think that's just kind of the dude he is. But then like immediately they're pretty much, and Serena has a cool kind of little quote by, and I say, we left him a note, we're leaving, right? Because they're like immediately leaving this planet.
Which actually like harkens back to one of the novels, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, because there's a whole beacon and stuff. The Spirit of Fire randomly leaves, and they're trying to recover a beacon.
You're right.
This is a great. It's interesting because we just read these books last year, so it's interesting watching Halo Wars unfold and knowing what's going to happen in the future, kind of surrounding this.
We don't get much of a sense in the games, again, maybe from the books, but in the games we don't get much of a sense of what the size of the Covenant force is on Arcadia, though.
No.
Right? Because we don't know,
really.
like, in my mind, as a player, it's like, well, we got to go get Anders, right? But they never zoom back and show you the full, Covenant fleet or kind of give you some sort of, like, even in the black boxes that we've been reading, never says how big the army is, the attacking force on Arcadia.
I mean, they do make a good point for why they're leaving, though, because Anders is basically... It's basically like stealing an AI. She knows so many things about humanity and everything that's going on, and she's also a civilian, so they know she'd probably talk when tortured, so it's a huge security risk to the UNSC and humanity.
Yep. Yeah, so it's definitely the right call. But just there's not much perspective other than like, the last few missions that we've played were on Arcadia. It feels like it's isolated to this one city in this, this little area that you've been playing. But it must be much more widespread for Cutter to be having such a hard time with the decision.
I get the impression he just doesn't want to leave people behind, either on the planet or in. Anyway, the cutscene moves to an unknown location on February 23rd, 2531. It shows you a beam of light coming across this weird-looking planet, and then you have this thing moving, and it is difficult to look at. It is clearly, as it turns to the camera, it's an elite that has been taken over by the Flood, which we know from previous games. But it's a pretty dope-looking Flood form. Cutter steps up to Serena and says, "Where are we? We're in a planet in the middle of, I don't actually know where." She's kind of confused. They don't know where they are yet. Anders has been landed somewhere. They've taken cover. They can't get their exact location, but they've rough coordinates. They're pretty much Cutter's like, get Forge down there.
Did they slip space here?
They slip space here is the impression. They followed the signal, I guess, so they didn't know where they were going. They were just following.
Okay.
And they said the planet is giving off crazy readings. They're not really sure what they're looking at. Pretty much it's Forge on the ground.
Floody readings. We're being flooded by crazy readings.
Oh my god.
The planet is interesting to look at outside the window. It's all kind of orangey gold.
It's a flood planet. We know that the Flood can take over entire ecosystems pretty easily. So when given the option, when given free reign of a planet, they will completely terraform the planet into a flood planet.
It's pretty wild. Cool, and then we get to the in-game cutscene, which shows you a bunch of Covenant running around, and it has Forge hanging out with his elephant buddy, big huge vehicle. And then you know that there are there's Echo and India teams that are out there in a similar position to Forge, and he's just running around trying to find a spot to gain, as Cutter says, to gain a foothold, but just find a spot to put down a firebase and really, try to figure out what's going on here. All right, let us do our overview of the mission objectives and whatnot. So the first objective is to get to the base drop beacon, and we'll cover that in a little bit. It's right after you have your first encounter. The second is investigate Echo Team. The third is find and recover the lost elephants, 2 of them. Then bring all 3 elephants back to base, and that's really it. So there's not a whole lot to this mission, and you can complete this mission pretty quickly if you just mainline that, where the optional objectives throw a little bit of a wrench into it, I guess. For some reason, training a squad out of an elephant is optional. I don't know how you could
it's optional.
And Forge could take on this initial encounter,
it's
maybe
optional.
on easy.
Let me tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The second one is kill 750 infection forms, and that takes a little while to do, so you got to kind of dilly-dally a bit. And then the other one is wander around and find the lost ODST squads, which there are 4 of them. And I feel like that one's more missable than the others.
Damn, I did not know that.
Yeah. Part time is 18 to 30 minutes, so it gives you plenty of time. Scoring goals is the top scoring goal is 30,000. Again, kind of low from what we're used to. 30,000. Silver is 20 to 30. Bronze is 12 to 20. And then tin is 0 to 12. Theoretical best score is 52,000. How'd you guys do? Let's start with Krysta. I want to hear.
Oh no! Okay, I'm sending proof.
Okay.
52,000.
You got perfect.
Oh,
get out of town.
You suck.
That's
Big dick energy.
Amazing.
Fucking hell.
All right, what did you guys get?
I don't think we went over the standings. Well, yeah, let's talk. Maybe David got perfect. Did you get perfect, David?
Yeah, I got perfect, Colin. I got the lowest score I've gotten so far. I got 21,520. I did terrible on this mission.
Man,
How many times did you play it?
Only the one.
Yeah,
right.
That's why.
Gotta get you to play it a couple more times.
David's out here being the tin boy in the room. You've got tin energy, David. You need gold energy.
Tin energy. Whatever. Shut up, Chris.
So I thought I did good. I had 45,857. So I was feeling really good about that score. But then Krysta, woof.
Sorry.
Perfect. So Krysta, and I don't think we went over the standings in the last episode.
Am I
Krysta,
winning?
Now you're winning.
Oh, okay,
I have
that's
2,
good.
and then this is the 8th mission, so that means Krysta has 6. So I need to step up my game here. David, you really need to
Colin, step up your game.
to have a shot at this, the title, the Halo Wars on normal title.
It's best on normal. That's how you can get perfect scores.
Right, exactly. All right, Krysta, talk about your toy box.
All right, we got a lot in the toy box. Oh my god, it's kind of annoying. All right, so we got hero units. We got Forge and our Spartan 3s, Jerome, Alice, and Douglas doing the kind of the same thing they've always been doing.
Spartan 2s. You said 3s.
Ah, I'm stupid.
Or 3 Spartan 2s.
3 Spartan 2s. Spartan 2 3s. Okay. Spartan 2s, there's 3 of them. We have our elephant, which is pretty interesting. It's just a big vehicle at first, but then you can kind of press Y on it. It becomes immobile, and then you can train units out of it, which is kind of the catch or like the niche of this mission.
But not upgrade. You can't upgrade anything.
You can't upgrade or do anything. It's basically just immobile base. If you need to like attack something, you can kind of put this out of harm's way and just keep having Marines come out of it. But
yeah, you could probably pump out upgraded Marines once you get the firebase, I would imagine.
Yeah. I don't think elephants are used much in the rest of the game either, so
yeah.
So we have our firebase, of course, for later in the game. So we get upgraded to station, and then you can upgrade it further to fortress. Supply pads, reactors, turrets, and warthogs is what you can do out of that. We have our barracks, Elephant Barracks, which is Marines and flamethrowers. Which there are ODSTs on the map, but you can't
Just
train.
on the map.
Yeah, but you can't
Yep.
train ODSTs out of the barracks or Elephant. We have our vehicle depot with Scorpion, Cobras, and Wolverines. We have our air pad with Hornets and Vultures.
Yeah.
Our field armory with reserves, reinforcement, turret upgrades, adrenaline, and carpet bomb. Our Spirit of Fire abilities, which is heal and repair, and carpet bomb.
Carpet bomb.
It's such a shame that this is such a mission that you don't need any of this shit, but they give it all to you. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, you really don't.
And now we have some Covenant units. We have have Brutes and Grunts. And that's it. Yeah. And then we have a third enemy now, interestingly enough.
Oh.
We have the Flood. Ooh.
Lots of Flood.
Well, we also have choppers from the Brutes, but those are at the very beginning.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of Flood boys. Lots of Flood. You have, of course, the annoying little infection forms, which in this game just kind of travel in a pack of like 7 or 8 for each little unit. They kind of run around. And they can infect your guys, so then you can get your infected Brutes or your infected ODSTs.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Thrasher form, which is almost like the perfect form from Halo 3, that kind of big hulking guy.
Pure form.
Yeah, pure form. So he's kind of like that, but he's on all fours. We haven't seen anything like him quite yet.
He's a big boy, right?
He's a big boy, yeah. He kind of comes at you. We have, of course, the Flood Carrier form, which is the one that you can kind of pop and more infection forms come out of.
They look so cute.
They're so cute. Yeah, they're really cute. That's how I would describe all of these guys, is cute. This is such a cute planet. The cutest green planet. We have our Flood Cloud, which is a weird kind of like mist that kind of flies around. I didn't really even notice it, really, but he's there. He'll do things.
It's out there. Mm-hmm.
We have our Flood Launcher, which just kind of is a big building that kind of just launches flood pellets at you.
Yeah.
You have flood eggs and stalks, which is just kind of environmental stuff. You can destroy it, but you don't need to. It doesn't do anything.
I think you get flood kills for it, though.
Oh, it does count as one kill? Okay, you can do that.
Yeah.
And then you have Flood Tentacles, which you'll see, which your units will go right up to and then get killed. So don't let them do that. They kind of just slap you, kind of slap around. And then you have these two they're almost like base units, or just, they're spawning units. It's the Flood Den and the Flood Nests. And you can kill them and they'll stay dead for a specific amount of time and then they'll regenerate. But that's where all the Flood are going to spawn from. There's 4 or 5 on the map that you'll be able to find. So that's the Floody stuff.
Very nice. The difficulty modifications on easy, all enemy units have 50% less health points and inflict 50% less damage. That's pretty standard for easy. On heroic, there are extra Flood artillery forces, which is mainly the Flood launcher, I believe. On legendary, all enemy units have 25% more health and inflict 25% more damage. I feel like legendary, this one probably is pretty doable.
Oh yeah.
Just of note, so to Krista's point about the dens and the nests, there are points on the map. There's little red dots, and that's where those dens and nests are, and those will respawn after time. So if you want to, if you wanted to, you don't need to, but if you wanted to stick on some of your units nearby, they could just take those out when they respawn. So there you go. All right, David, I think you're up on our walkthrough.
Yeah,
what'd you do, David?
What I did was suck real bad at this. So I.
All right, very good, David.
Yeah, I grossly overestimated my forces at the start. So I built up a few. Like, okay, I'm gonna move forward now and fight some of these Covenant. And then the map revealed, and there was way more there than I thought I did, and I had overcommitted, and I had to really push myself back. Now the Spartans drop in, but I had lost so much already. I was like, this is a terrible start to this mission. So I came back and the Spartans came in and I just kind of left the Spartans because you don't get immediate control of them. I just left the Spartans fight while I tried to kind of heal my units back up, pump out some more troops and move forward again. So I came back with a second wave and then eventually the Spartans fight back. and you get
So there's like a
control of them.
pinch point is what you're talking
Yeah.
about, like when you kind of head up and then the brutes are on the left and the right, and then there's a bunch of choppers that kind of come in and F you up.
Yeah, they pretty much screwed me real bad before the
Yeah.
actual Spartans made it down to me. So then eventually when all those units are dead, I slowly moved myself up, cleared out the area of the fire base, and you have to then send like I found those like points. Like I explored the back area really easily, really quickly, and there's nothing really there. I found those 2 flood things, killed them, and just moved on. I knew they regenerated, so there's no point really staying here. When the base came in, I think is the next phase.
So you have to go over to the left and reveal Echo. You have to save one of the elephants.
Do you before you get a
fire
base? Ah, right, okay.
At least that's how it worked for me.
I pumped out a bunch more units, went over there, and again got my ass handed to me. All of my troops were just getting wrecked by the flood. I was not doing very well. Had to retreat again, pump out more units, fly forward again to eventually take out. And then the tentacles was wrecked shop, and then with my units, they just walked up to the tentacles and started to pet them, tried to hug them. I don't know what they were doing.
Tried to hentai them, you know.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, you have guns and grenades. What are you doing? So eventually cleared out the first elephant that's like just covered with like flood egg sacs essentially, and I slowly retreated myself back to the base, got a fire base, started building up better units, some troops. So I tried to see what okay, I'll pump out some hornets. Hornets died super fast. Everything kills hornets. Jesus, they just collapsed on me. They were just useless in this game.
The Hornets were bad?
Hornets was super bad for me. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, anything
You guys were making hornets?
Yeah. I quickly decided, right, I'm going straight over to the second gamma, I think it is. The second...
India,
Echo
sorry. is top left.
Yep.
India's below. Yeah.
I got the second one. That was really easy the second time around. I was better prepared for that. I had some vehicles and stuff like that with me. I can't remember exactly what I had. I did have a few warthogs, I think, and stuff like that. I cleared that one pretty quick and then quickly retreated back. I found one unit of ODSTs. I forgot they were even on this map, and I was like, oh, this would have been useful. And then immediately the mission ended because I had my elephant got back to the base, and I was like, oh crap, that's the end of the mission.
I hate how quickly this mission ends, because the first playthrough I was trying to build up the base to get cool stuff, and then the mission ended.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, why did I spend any time doing that?
Exactly.
That was pretty much my experience, and I was like, okay, I suck at this mission. It's over.
David, we got to get you to play these missions a couple more times.
I don't know.
3 times the charm.
3 times.
So I will go, since I'm not perfect, but I'm close. A couple notes. So on my heroic run, so the initial wave, I kind of stuck my elephant just outside a little bit of where the brutes start to attack you, because the gun on the elephant helped me out a little bit, and it helped take out some of the initial barrage. And waiting for the red team to come down, it takes a little while for that to happen. So you do have I felt like I did have to sacrifice some of my Marines, and I built a lot of flamethrowers right away. Let's see, what did I built Marines right away, and then after I cleared out this initial area, then I started doing flamethrowers because I knew the flood was around, and I figured flamethrowers would be handy for the flood. On heroic though, this initial spot is a pain in the ass because my elephant blew up multiple times. The jetpack brutes just like start to just jump towards like on top of your elephant really, and just like start to pummel it. It took me a lot of tries to finally figure out how to get out of that spot, and it was really just like staying way back and just building, just pumping out Marines and waiting for all the jetpack brutes to just come forward, and then clearing enough of them out to finally have red team come and save your ass. So otherwise, if you go up on heroic, you're just gonna get pummeled. So that was quite a bit of a surprise, because on normal it's not too bad. You're gonna lose a number of enemies, and the choppers do take out your infantry pretty quickly, but it's it's doable. But heroic is a lot rougher. The black box is kind of off on the right. You can go off onto the right and wrap around a little bit. So there's a black box there. There's some supply bins to gather up along the way. And after you do clear out the initial wave of brutes, then there's that beacon that we mentioned, that first objective. You can kind of see it right away. So you get to that spot, and that's when the dialogue triggers, and Echo starts to chime in, and India starts to chime in and say, they get taken over by the flood. You can actually go down and see that. Did you guys do that when you moused over to? Or,
I watched
it
two of them.
down.
You can also watch the Spartans come in on a pelican.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't realize that. That's cool. So then, I went up to the Echo's side right away, cleared out that elephant. Then it triggers to the base. But then, at that point, I had, I don't know, I think I was trying to keep track of how many units. I had like 15, maybe 15 total when I made that initial, strike in to save the elephant from all the flood. And quite a few of them do die along the way, but then you can get an ODST, you can wrap around, get an ODST squad, and then I think I got 2 of the ODST squads, and it's hard to describe on the map where they are, but they're out there. They're usually in little tucked away spots. You can see like the flood, like the eggs, those big eggs that you pop. You can see those in the distance in kind of the fog of the map. So usually the ODST squads are right around there. I was able to save all 4. I figured out where all 4 were, especially on Heroic. I figured out where they all were to get those extra bonus points, which come in handy. And plus the fact that they're ODSTs and they're fully veteran.
So nice.
Yeah,
that's the key
they
to
wreck
this
shot
mission.
pretty good. So I went and saved Echo, and then I went down and saved as many ODSTs as I could, and then saved India. I think there was one. By the time I saved India, the elephant down there, then there was one more ODST squad that I needed to grab, and then I just kind of wrapped around. But then I didn't have enough infection forms killed to get that optional objective. So at that point, you just kind of had to park my elephant in that spot in between my base and kind of where the rest of the map is, where you're coming from, and then just wait and clear out the rest of the flood. Once you hit 750, then bring everybody over. From my base standpoint, I did all my turrets. I made sure that those were upgraded to flame because I figured that again was good on against the flood. I did Hornets, I think, on one of my better runs. No, let's see. I think on my best run, I ended up doing Warthogs. Yeah, I did a Hornet run. I think on my second run, and that's fun because you can kind of put them around the map and they move really fast, and they seem to survive fine for me. So I don't know what the problem was with David with your run. Who's taking them
Generally
out?
Sucking. There was there are these, the lack of a better term, that SAM-size gun emplacements that were just spitting out these things and
The
hitting
launchers.
aerial units.
Yeah.
Launchers. They pretty much one-shotted or two-shotted a lot of my Hornets straight away.
Oh, okay.
And they were just at random places around the map.
Yeah, I just built up the Hornets to, I think the first time, for my first run, I built up the Hornets to go find where the ODSTs were, because I didn't know where they were right away. So once I figured out where they were, I was like, okay, now I can get them along the way when I'm, wrapping up all the elephant stuff. The second time I did Hornets just to help clear out the flood. Like I sent them up to that northern spot that, then they cleaned them up there. But then the last time I decided, maybe I don't even need Hornets. I just built a bunch of Warthogs and didn't mess with any of the tanks, didn't mess with anything else that you really have from the firebase. It was just I upgraded my Warthogs all the way to Gosshogs and just tooled those around, and they they did everything I needed to get me to 750. And then the mission ends once you bring the third elephant over. So not too bad. Heroic was harder from the first standpoint, from that initial standoff with the brutes, and then the flood are more difficult in general on Heroic as well. And I had one of my elephants almost got taken out. I think it was like I had it parked in that middle spot right in the middle of the map, and there must have been like 1 or 2 infection forms that was just like slowly pummeling my my elephant. So by the time I went back to check on it, it was like had barely any of its health bar left. So I had to use a heal and repair on it to then and then just kind of brought it over to safety. That was my run. Yeah, it's quick. It's the hardest part of the mission, I guess, for me is just being patient on the optional objectives, because killing all the infection forms takes a little bit of time. Krysta, how did you perfect this mission?
Easy. Don't build anything and keep all your units alive.
Oh, okay.
That's all you do.
So
The
just
end.
veterancy to the max?
Hot diggity. How did you not build anything and yet keep everything alive, Krysta?
So if I don't know how it works, but once you spawn in, you immediately just get your Spirit of Fire abilities. You just do that carpet bomb.
Okay.
And you carpet bomb as many as you can, which is like the back row of the Covenant that are back there.
Uh-huh.
You carpet bomb those, and then I immediately looked to see if the red team was coming, and they came right away. I'm not sure if it takes one carpet bomb or two. So I guess I don't know how red team spawns in, but if you do a well-placed carpet bomb, they'll come right at you. They'll just spawn in right away. And then I have Forge kind of kill a couple things or something like that, but then you just let red team kill everyone because they're invincible at this point.
Right.
Once all the Covenant are dead, you start going to... I went to the elephant on the right of the map first.
The right of the map?
Yeah, I went to the right first.
There's no right. Both elephants are to the left of the map.
Well, like up.
Well, up and to the left.
Well, yeah. Once you go to where the fire base is going to spawn and you go straight, I took a right.
I see what you're saying. So you probably turned your camera.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I always orient it to where the fire base is.
Okay.
And then I just have one Spartan go off and collect all the ODSTs at this point. And then,
really?
Yeah. And then everyone else just kind of starts... No, I don't go straight to the elephant. I just kind of started, making my units slowly kind of get through Flood.
Uh-huh.
And then once all the ODSTs are there, it's real easy. You just kill all the Flood, you let the elephant go, and then you go back to the base, and then I made one thing of Marines so that I could get that optional objective.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
just because you need it.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess that's why you need to do it. Otherwise, you could just rely on red team.
Yeah,
Crazy.
And then I built supply pads just because, but then everyone goes and gets that second elephant on the left or down, over and down. And then after that, your mission's done, and then you just need to farm Flood. So what I had is I split all the units up. I took both of the Flood dens by each of the elephants, and then there's a Flood den like above your base. Or like it's like over
way in the top.
Yeah. And so you just put your units like right out of their way so they're not going to kill the Flood base, but then the Flood will keep spawning.
Oh,
and coming at you. So you just leave them there until you get to 750 and then you're done.
And then you just move the elephant over and you're good.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it. That's it.
That's brilliant. And so did you have any of your ODSTs? Because multiple times I'd look at like my massive Marines and ODSTs, and especially like those, because I would pop all the little eggs, and sometimes there would be supplies, and sometimes there would be like the Flood Cloud, and I think the Flood Cloud is what fucked my guys up the most.
I didn't pop anything.
See my ODSTs transform.
No, I didn't pop anything. I just sat and let Flood spawn out of those dens.
Gotcha.
And that was it. And then whatever hit the base. I think I might have upgraded one of the turrets or something to flame, but I didn't mess with the base much because once you learn that it literally ends once you get the elephant, there's no point of building up your base.
Right.
Yep, that's it.
Very nice.
Don't let any of your shit die, you'll get perfect. That's what I learned last time. This time it helped a lot.
Well, I think I was popping the eggs, whatever they're called, because I saw my infection form or my Flood form kills go up. So it's like, I'm just going to pop all these and that'll help me get to my number. But it was probably a bigger detriment to my score by doing that versus just going and camping by the dens.
And I camped by the dens. I still got under par time too. I got 1644.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I guess if you're not... The carpet bomb, I think, helps a lot because you're getting those
once you get
at the very beginning of the mission. You're getting the red team to come down right away versus you throwing a bunch of Marines to their death.
Yeah, and like the brutes won't come at you like right away. You have to kind of inch up for them to aggro.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just keep keep Forge down there, they won't do anything, and then the red team just comes and just kills everyone.
That's awesome. So, Krista, do me a favor.
Sure.
Play this on Heroic and just see how much that changes.
Okay, I'm sure it would change quite a bit.
But it would be amazing if you could do something similar. I mean, I would imagine after the brutes come and wreck shop right away, then it probably is all the same. So
yeah, as long as the flood's not super hard on Heroic.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Any trivia of this mission, David?
There's a bit. There's a bit.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds. Scroll back up. So obviously this is the first mission to feature the flood, but actually chronologically, it's also the first mission in the entire series to feature the flood.
Yeah. We don't know what the flood is for 20 years until the Halo event. So,
which
crazy.
is kind of, if you were thinking when you were playing this mission, holy shit, humanity encountered the flood this early. But then it also is giving you a hint that, okay, if humanity found the flood this early, but humanity also didn't know about it, it's a bad sign for the Spirit of Fire in this game. That you're kind of thinking, oh shit, what happens between now and then that like prevents the Spirit of Fire from reporting back? So it's kind of a little bit of a foreshadowing of where this game is going to go.
For the people that are, were into the lore when this game released, it probably made the story even more intriguing.
Oh, 100%.
Because they know what's happening, but meanwhile, you're midway through the game, you find the flood, and you're like, wait a minute, we shouldn't know about the flood. So you're probably either doing two things. You're like, oh, this is a different company that made this game, and they're gonna screw with my canon, or something interesting is gonna happen that and you just have to wait and play the rest of the campaign.
Yeah, I instantly was like, this must be non-canon because this doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And that's understandable. But I was like, oh man, where's this going? This is the first level in the entire series where the brutes are referred to as Jiralhane, their proper names. It's the first level in the series in which a Covenant species is referred to by its proper name in scripted dialogue, though the names of most Covenant species are sometimes said by NPCs in Halo 3, which I thought is also very interesting. Sergeant Forge's...
The brutes are, to my point of that earlier, like right away on Heroic, the brutes are bastards. Like they take a while to take down. Like they're huge and they should be, and they're hard to take down and they should be, and that's portrayed appropriately, especially for the base Marines. Like you throw a bunch of dudes at them, and it takes a while to take down the brutes.
Sergeant Forge's report about the discovery of the flood, not Covenants or something else, something worse, much uglier, is similar to the dialogue between Tel Vadam and John 117 on the level of the Storm in Halo 3. When the flood captured battlecruiser arrives, what is it? More brutes? To which John replies, worse. Spartans are used to hijack any of the choppers at the beginning of the level. The player cannot gain control of the Spartans until the hijacked chopper has been destroyed, which is interesting. So if they just hijack a chopper before you actually have control of them, you still can't control them until the chopper gets destroyed.
Oh, that kind of sucks, actually.
Isn't it? Yeah. Serena's line, well, this is new and scary, was first said in the original Halo Wars demo video. However, rather than the flood, she was referring to the sudden appearance of a scarab. The ODST squads found on this level have 5 veterancy points, 2 more than the normal limit of 3 for ODST squads, causing them to be exceptionally stronger than normal squads.
That's why
So
they're amazing.
uber ODSTs.
Yep.
If the last ODST squad fighting when the ODSTs say their lines, they will not mutate into flood combat forms, which is interesting. In the opening cutscene, Serena asks if they will be leaving a note, as seen in Halo Escalation and Halo Smoke and Shadow. They did indeed leave a note behind in the form of a log boy that was supposed to be recovered by the UNSC Roman Blue. However, Captain Terrence Hood's decision to attack the CPV class heavy destroyer Radiant Perception prevented this. It's recovered in 2557 by John Forge's daughter Ryan Forge. It's also Ryan, actually. But there you go. I knew that I was going to do that anyway. As seen in Halo Smoke and Shadow. So there you go. There's a whole nice bit of trivia.
I like that the Halopedians updated this entry.
Yeah, it's nice. They do good work over there.
They're good peoples over there.
How badass is Forge? I'm sure we'll talk about it at the end of this series, but like he's seen some shit already.
Yeah.
And we're halfway through this game.
And he's still going.
Yeah. And he's just a Marine. He's not a Spartan. Pretty crazy. All right, let's do some black box action.
All right. February 10th, 2531. The capture of Professor Anders forces Captain Cutter's hand. Spirit of Fire pursues the enemy into Covenant space. The ship's AI projects an arrival at the destination in 312 hours. The ship remains on high alert for the duration, though non-essential crew members are briefly placed in cryo-sleep. So, it's just them talking about how they're going somewhere that they don't know where the hell they're going.
All right. Before we go to community, I just wanted to, something else that came to mind is, and David, forgive me if you mentioned this, but Anders essentially saves Forge at the beginning in the
cutscene. Oh yeah,
Yes.
totally, yeah.
Even
though he was cut in half.
Well,
Yeah, even though he was cut in half. He miraculously survived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's some good armor, you know what I'm saying?
But it's interesting because he's annoyed with her the entire time. And then she's like, despite that, you know, she's like, no, I'll go with you. And it's also interesting thinking about Spartan ops where I guess Halsey, you know, goes with the Covenant. So there's like some parallels between Anders and Halsey, and we've kind of talked about that at the beginning of the Halo Wars coverage.
Mm-hmm.
All right, community time. What's Facebook having to say?
Community time. Colin Perkins, the admin, on February 21st, 4:17 p.m. You land on a mysterious planet that's infested with flood. Describe the smell. Oh my god, Colin.
Ugh.
Question for mission
I saw
debrief,
this and
Halo
I'm like,
Wars,
this
and
isn't
their
good.
signal mission. Oh my god. Yeah, what kind of madness are we going to get in here today? Alright. Ian Francis says, oh no, the Discord is going to be brutal. So, yeah, yes it is.
Prepare yourselves.
Chad said it would surely smell like the oldest fart in the galaxy. Truly rank, so vile it would assault your nose and sting your face. Jesse says the old flood mold smell from the fridge that hasn't been cleaned out in 2 years. Ryan says old gym socks and mold. Dave says earthy with a metallic taste and a hint of cinnamon. Very specific. Santiago says imagine a rotten egg sprinkled with skunk fur on the side of spoiled milk.
Very nice.
Lucas, the smell of rotten bodies that have been sitting there for weeks and are full of bugs. Matthew said it smells about as good as a 21G1C is erotic. I don't know what that means.
It's a car.
Me neither.
Alright, okay. Patrick says, like an unwashed can of tuna fish. Aaron Campbell says, imagine everyone on the planet had Indian food at the same time and then needed the bathrooms a few hours later. Lance says, air freshener with the power of a Nova bomb couldn't make the smell go away. Timothy says, it actually just smells like fresh cut grass mixed with a field of wheat or corn, an enticing aroma that draws you in until you cease to exist. Oh, that's dark.
I like that. Maybe
Yeah.
it is deceptively sweet.
I wouldn't put it past the flood to like have some kind of nice aromatic smells mixed in there, so you don't really know that you're breathing in spores.
It's got to be described somewhere in one of the books, right?
Probably. Manny Batista says a millennium-old hard-boiled eggs with rotten meat and a hint of cinnamon, cause cinnamon is evil.
More cinnamon.
Yeah. Storm says it's a mixture of Mexican and Indian and seafood all mixed together to make something that even the world's largest and biggest landfill and sewage septic tank, the world's largest poop farm, has ever made in one. Holy crap. Sabrina says popcorn.
Oh, delicious.
James says the smell of a rotting corpse on a cow mixed with the smell of milk, off milk. I speak from experience. Holy shit, James. And Brian says, remember those times in the toilet when you're taking a huge dump, and then the moment when wiping your butt, you accidentally sniff the air. Yeah, that's what it would probably smell like. You'd be skiing yourself as you gaze at what is about to end you from making the horrible smell, but it's too late. You did it twice. There you go.
It's a creative writing assignment, really.
Yeah, it brought out the best in people.
I think so. How about Discord?
All right. Min-Max speech says bad.
Nice.
That's a good start.
Very good start. Rai says like Dizuto's mom after a girls' night out.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Your mom jokes.
We're assaulting people now in the Discord.
Dizuto says it smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Oh my God.
That's from something. I can't remember what it is.
Wolf says it smells like pure rotten sunshine and rainbows mixed with my high school showers. Matt says it smells like my toilet after I mess up and eat Taco Bell. Yeah, we all know that. We were just talking about that last week.
It's not messing up.
It's
Taco
making
Bell's
a good decision that
right.
that kicks you in the butt later. Physical Sky says it probably smells like mushrooms that smell bad when you kick them over. So Physical Sky's going around murdering mushrooms.
Save the mushrooms.
Hector Elite says smells like when I go into the changing room after PE. Ew. Orion the Elder says I would suggest it smells like someone you live with took some watermelon slices, put them in a covered bowl, left them in a cupboard for a few months. That person went on holiday and left you to clean up the cupboard. Watermelon's gross when it molds. Oh my God, it's nasty. Dizzy Bumper says, honestly, given that Flood are intergalactic superintelligence spawned by godlike prehistoric beings who also literally invented the Forerunners and humans and the whole planet's worth of biomass, and has their added human intelligence could probably come up with some sort of air fresheners at least. Yep. It's a big one.
Yeah, it's called Halo, and it purges all smells.
That's quite the air freshener.
Big galaxy-spanning wave.
Why are there not Halo-shaped air fresheners? Oh my God.
Oh shit, I'd buy that in a second.
Ian, get it up on the store. Quick, Ian.
Jedi Spartan 38 says, to quote the lives of the Flood, a thick goop that can only be described as holy hell, that shit stinks. That said, infection forms are quite tasty. Ew.
Gross.
Snark says it smells like pot roast chicken that went bad 5 years ago, but it's okay because I listened to episodes that Krysta hosts. Thank you.
I was waiting for it.
It's like, all right, well, I'm dying of Flood, but at least Krista's hosting a podcast.
Yeah, so everything's good.
Blue Calyx says the Flood smells like the socks under Snark's bed.
Oh God, damn.
And finally, Shadow of Oni says the Flood planet smells like, oh gosh, Rafflesia? Aranoid flower, which is called the stinking corpse lily. Oh, I know what this is. It literally smells like a rotting, decaying corpse with a hint of fish and sweaty socks, just for good measure. It's a nasty. It's a cool looking flower, but apparently it smells like nasty as hell. So, corpse flowers, look them up. Interesting. You learned something today.
We learned lots of things today.
Many things.
Thanks, guys. Love that creative writing.
Thanks, guys. We love it.
It was great. I'm glad I asked that question. Do not regret it at all.
Gee, thanks, Colin. That just exists in my life now. That's part of my life.
Yep, it's there.
It'll never leave either.
I did realize that I forgot that the skull exists in this mission, so it's there. It's kind of in the middle of the map. Go get it.
It's after you kill the Flood forms.
Yeah, I have to get them all. So go grab that, and then you're done. Then you can move on to the next one, the next mission, which is the Flood. Which is weird because we saw the Flood now.
Oh, that's telling. I wonder what it's gonna be about.
Right. So that'll do it for a debriefing of Anders' Signal. As I mentioned, the next mission is the Flood. Send us your thoughts at podcastevolved@gmail.com or drop us a tweet at podcastevolved on Twitter. You can also support the show by visiting Podcast Evolved on Patreon. Until next time, evolve.
Evolved.